Do you think coaches, organizations, players are superstitious? If you don't, then those statistics should point to the fact that maybe they are just a little bit. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. And before we get to the matchup, Ricky, I got to ask you, how superstitious are players when it comes to these type of things? I mean, the team wearing white has won 10 of the last 11. Broncos are 0-4 wearing orange in Super Bowls, so they decide to wear white, even though they're the home team.
Well, I tell you what, Ken, I would really want to be having white on this week myself. I mean, with those statistics, anytime you won 10 out of the last 11 being the home team, you want to be the home team.
I know this. My best show was wearing this colored shirt.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Who asked him? I was talking to you, man. You're the player. Who is he? All right. Super Bowl 50 is here. Let's take a look at the matchup. It is a good matchup at that. The logo, the trophy, and the team logos. It's the Panthers. It's the Broncos. Okay, the Bronco, the horse can run if you say giddy up, and the Panther can eat. Good stuff. All right, third straight year the top seeds have met in the big game. Panthers, of course, leading in takeaways and turnover margin with the Broncos. And they're probably the best overall defense in the NFL. So you got two really good defenses. And let's start with this, because who's going to be going against those defenses? A couple of quarterbacks that have distinguished themselves in brilliant fashion. For the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton, who, of course, should be the NFL MVP. And for the Denver Broncos, this guy, Peyton Manning. What a player he's been over an extended period of time. Such a delicious matchup, Brian, because of the contrast in style, the contrast in age. One guy's coming into his own, becoming perhaps the best. The other has been the best in the past, maybe not so at this point. Just an intriguing matchup.
It is, and there's so many subplots to this, Kenny. The largest in my mind is this going to be Peyton Manning's last game? We'll find out. I mean, he claims it may be his last rodeo, if you believe the reports that he said to Coach, who was it?
Belichick.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick at New England.
I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yes. And so if you believe that, and I do, I think this will be his last game. To me, that's a really overriding subplot for this whole game. But two best teams, Cam Newton, 26, Peyton Manning, 39, soon to be 40 in March. And I don't think you could ask for really a better game for the Super Bowl 50.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I look at the two teams, but my thing is the offensive line for the Panthers. I think that's where the game going to lie on. If they can control that defensive line and that pass rush, I think Cam Newton will do the rest. But then I don't know how he going to handle the pressure too, by him being young, first time. It's Peyton's fourth time, so he's used to the pressure. But it's going to be how Cam can handle the pressure his first go round. But I think if the offensive line give him time, I think that's what's going to be the key to the ball game.
You know, you think you've heard this said about other quarterbacks in this league, but never would I think that Peyton Manning would be called a game manager, okay? And that's what the description of him is right now. And I'll tell you what, if he's a game manager, I'll let him manage my game anytime, Kenny. He is unbelievable and still is playing at a pretty good level, even at his age.
I'll tell you one thing, I'm so happy to see that you back on Peyton Manning bandwagon.
Me too.
Yes, thank you.
You had jumped off for a minute there.
Oh boy,
I was on Wheaton bandwagon, but you jumped off for Peyton bandwagon.
Now there's a game manager.
Now that is a game manager.
It's kind of like a badge of discourage, right?
Right.
In the sense that if you call somebody a game manager or a coach on the field, it generally means he's not a very good player.
Right.
That's what it means. So it's pretty interesting. And to that point, I think Peyton Manning has something to prove. I really do. And
Yes,
I think
I
he's
do
got
too.
something still left in the tank for the Carolina Panthers. The question is, can they contain Cam Newton and his offense? Let's take a look at the overall matchup. And let's talk about when Carolina has the football. Speaking to Cam Newton, here they are. The Carolina offense, 11th against the number 1 defense in total yards. In rushing, really good matchup. Two of the best opposing each other. Passing, Denver's best in the league against the pass. And in scoring, well, Carolina leads the NFL, and Denver is 4th in the league. Something's got to give. This is a really good matchup. Really good offense against a really good defense. That's what you'll love to see, Brian.
You know, they say defense wins championships, Kenny, and we'll find out. But
Who are they, by the way?
I'm
still
not
trying
sure
to
who
figure
they
it
are.
out.
Whoever, it's not Brandon Whedon. We know
Okay.
that. But in this game, I'll tell you what, the Panthers have such a good running game to complement. And look, we're forgetting, we're going to mention Jonathan Stewart and Mike Tolbert, but you can't leave Cam Newton out of that running effect because, my goodness, he's run for almost 600 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns on the ground in addition to what he's done in the postseason. So there's a guy that they're going to have to contend with, and he's unique. He's a freak of nature when it comes to a running quarterback.
Ricky, this is the one guy that's kind of defied the odds about the quarterback can't run it too much because he's going to get hurt. We saw it happen with RG3. We've seen it happen with all the guys who ran it a lot in NFL history. Russell Wilson's still healthy to a lesser degree. He hasn't run it quite as much. Newton's a guy, he runs it a lot and takes a lot of hits, but he's so big and strong that he's been able to take it.
Well, you know, the game will change too. You can't hit like you used to. You can't go for the head. So, I mean, a lot of guys, when they come at him, they don't go at him to take him out. You know what I mean? They go at him to try to get him down. But used to be, well, you can go at the head and all that. You try to hurt the guys when they run the ball. So it's a lot different now.
Ricky, here's a guy, 6'5", you know, and some change maybe.
240.
Oh, I think a little bit more, maybe a biscuit under 260. I mean, but he's put together, so you better make sure that you bring him down, and he's tough. He's not a Russell Wilson.
Well, let's
he's
put
not
it in
one of these guys,
perspective.
you know?
How much did you weigh
Yeah.
when you played?
He probably weighed more than
I
you.
weigh about 250.
Yeah.
Okay, you chopped out at 250. I was going to say you're probably about 240.
Yeah, 245, 250.
And
this
you're not
guy's-
6'5" either.
This guy's taller than you and every bit as
Yeah.
heavy.
Right, and run faster.
And runs fast.
And you know, and Mike Shula designs plays for him. It's not like he's just scrambling out of a pocket anymore like he did in his rookie and second year. This guy, there are design plays. He runs a little read option, and he'll take the ball inside the 5.
And I take my hat off to both teams because, you know, the owner played in the NFL, and you know, so you know here about football, and John Elway kind of running
Yes.
Denver. So those two teams are very into football, both of them.
Okay, Greg Olson's emerged as one of the best tight ends in the league. Ted Ginn had a career year this year.
Man.
Is that because of Cam Newton making them better or because they simply emerged?
I'll take it. Kenny, I think Newton is it. Look at Ginn. Ginn has never had a season like this before. Funches has developed as a good rookie receiver. Now, Greg Olson and Cam Newton have something special, much like Breeze and Graham had when they were together. But I think it's all of Cam maturing as a pocket passer and knowing where his bread is buttered. I'll get it out. And, you know, and he has made all these other receivers better. Kelvin Benjamin, they don't need him.
Well, don't say they don't need him, right? The young man got hurt. I mean, anytime, you know, you're a star like that and you get hurt, don't say they don't need him. I mean,
They don't
just
need him this year.
Yeah,
That's what my point is, yeah.
But don't say they don't need him.
Well,
But
I'm going to say they don't need him.
I'll tell you what, though, Ginn did a great job this year, just coming in with his speed and catching the ball now. And that's the whole key to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's take a look now at when the Denver Broncos have the ball in their possession. And the Broncos, well, they're 16th in total yards against the Carolina defense that ranks highly. Denver is 17th, middle of the pack as well. Running the ball, Carolina's good against the run. Passing, Denver, middle of the pack to slightly upper portion. And Carolina's good but not great in that department. Scoring, Denver's only 22.2 a game. That might surprise some. And Carolina 6th in the league. So it would seem that the Carolina defense has a better chance of slowing down the Denver offense based on the numbers, Brian?
Yeah, and you know what has made Peyton an effective quarterback this year, he's fought through a lot of adversity, as we're well aware of, is that they've got a really good, solid running game that has helped take pressure off him. But their defense is why they're here, and we'll get to that. But their defense is why the Broncos are here. But they do run the ball effectively and efficiently, and Peyton's got, you know, good receivers to throw to, good tight end. So I mean, they've got it. They've got it all.
All right, Emmanuel Sanders on one side, we know he's fast, but to me, Ricky, it's all about Demaryius Thomas. He's got to do a lot more than he did against Carolina.
And I'll tell you what, you know, just having his mother out of jail now, I think that he really got something that he want to show off for, so I think he would have a great game. But those guys have been dropping a lot of balls on the other team.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen like 6 drops the last game, and the game before then about 5 or 6 drops. So Denver got to catch the ball.
And suddenly their running game's gotten a little bit better in the playoffs.
Good running back.
And I think that has a lot to do with Manning. and his presence and making the correct line call, Brian, at the line of scrimmage, where you might have called a play to the right and you flip it to the left when you read the defense.
Absolutely, and Belichick made probably the highest compliment you could give any quarterback. It's just talking about what a good, Peyton is a play caller at the line of scrimmage. Let's be honest. I mean, he's checking in and out of plays and reading defenses and putting them in the right play to succeed. And if that's a game manager, again, that's all part of it, but he's much more than that.
Can this Denver offense score enough points to win this game in your mind, Rick?
I mean, I don't see it. I see they're scoring about 22. Maybe they might. If they get to 22, I think they're going to need more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, because you see Carolina scoring about 30 points a game. So I think Denver need to get up around about 30, 35 points.
Mm-hmm. I think, they're probably going to have to get help either from special teams or defense, okay, and to score some points. I'm with Ricky.
Yeah, we'll have our predictions of the game itself later in the show, but there's no question that Carolina is the favorite and the team that most people have pointed to, and quite frankly, they should be. But Denver's a team you certainly cannot ignore for having beaten Pittsburgh and New England to get here. That's an impressive run against two-story franchises, two of the best franchises over the past 20, 30 years in the NFL, two of the best ever, really, when you consider what New England and Pittsburgh have accomplished. It's going to be fun. It's also going to be fun to monitor the New Orleans Saints here in the offseason. And when we return in just a moment, we're going to talk about the New Orleans Saints and where they're going. But we also want to encourage you to check out our friends at Premier Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram at 13,000 I-10 Service Road in New Orleans East. At Premier, you'll get a reliable and stylish new or used car at a price you can afford with Premier's expansive inventory of new and used cars. Back to talk Saints in a moment on Sports NOLA TV.